1960s, she kind of observed a lot of preschoolers and toddlers and many other children. And she was the first one to kind of come up with these observations in terms of, there could be a distinct style of parenting with certain set of children, certain set of behaviors that the children show. So she kind of came up with this, the kind of a figure that you can see on the screen, wherein there were two main parameters that she came up with, and which was demandingness and supportiveness. And later on, McAbee and Martin in 1983, they added up an extended style of the parenting, which they added up to the whole research. And now we have four different distinct parenting styles based on, how a parent is demanding or supportive. By demanding over here, what I mean is how much control and how much expectations is the parent putting on the child. And in terms of, whether there are set and clear rules or boundaries, whether there is, exactness and very, firmness in the, execution of those rules, that is kind of, demanding. Whether there are set and clear rules about what is expected, what is not expected, what is good and what is bad, what is okay, what is not okay, that all those things are demandingness, that they fall in demandingness. Supportiveness, on the other hand, was the parent's ability to be there for the child. Okay, in terms of being able to connect with the child in a way where the child feels safe with the person. And by support, it also meant that how, when the child is in distress, what kind of a comfort the parent is able to provide to the child. So that was supportiveness. Being the parent being liberal, the parent being a very, at par in, relationship with the child. That is all comes in the supportiveness. So based on that, we can see four quadrants over here. And what we can see over here is, let's take quadrant by quadrant. First, you can see is the authoritative parenting. As you can see, it falls into both green zones, okay? And that suggests basically that there is also a high level of demandingness, and there is also high level of supportiveness present in this particular slide. Now, what do I mean by this? Over here, the authoritative parents are very clear in terms of what they expect from their children to do. So there are clear rules of, clear rules and clear boundaries and clear limit settings in terms of what behaviors are okay, what behaviors are not okay, what behaviors will be accepted and what behaviors will not be accepted. But at the same time, the children, the parents are very warm towards their, children as well. They usually talk to the children a lot. They provide logical explanations behind why they want their children to behave in particular ways. They don't just impose rule and, ask the children to follow it that way. But rather, they give them a lot of choices. They offer a lot of expression of freedom of expression, and they allow the children to express to them their views, their opinions, their thoughts, their ideas, and they talk to them at an equal level. And this is how they are present for their emotional need. So often, authoritative parenting outcome of the child is very high. These children are very high in their self-esteem. They're confident, and also very, good in terms of, making logical relations, making good decisions, because all these have been practiced so much right from the beginning. Okay, so now let's go to the next one, which is the authoritarian parenting. Now you can see over there that the demandingness is still high. That is, the expectation from the children to follow the rules is very high, but at the same time, the supportiveness is not so high. It is rather less. So these parents, or this parenting style, is wherein parents appear kind of very harsh to the children, and it's kind of an expectation from the parents that, the child should just obey because I am the parent and I'm telling him to do so, so that should be done. Okay, so there is not much of a give and take and not much of a communication, not much of explanation happening. This is my way or the highway. That kind of a thing is happening over there. And a lot of times the punishments that the children receive is very harsh. and very negative, let's say. The response, it might not be corporal punishment, or it might not be yelling all the time, or it might not be even, something very specific, that can appear to the eyes. But still the response is negative in certain ways, and it is certainly not warm. Okay, so children who are being raised, this in this kind of a parenting style, they often are very timid and shy. They are not very confident. They're not being able to express, because they are not given opportunity to express their views and thoughts. They kind of feel that they're not so much worthy of. So their self-esteem is damaged pretty much. Okay, so now let's go to the third quadrant, which is the permissive parenting. Now you can see over there that these parents are very, very supportive, but over here, there is no set rules or expectations or boundaries, or there is no clear idea for the child in terms of what is right, what is wrong. So the demandingness is low. What happens over here is that in such situations where the parents are not really confident, or the parents are not really, in charge of the situation, the child takes in charge. And because for the child, probably then, the temper tantrums or aggressive behaviors, coming out on the environment or the other person, appears to be the easy way to, interact with. So many times what happens is that they are very poor in terms of developing interpersonal or social relationships. So a lot of negative behaviors also might come from here, because parents are not, they are there as a friend to their child. They are not scolding, they're not punishing or something like that. But they're not also giving any kind of a clear idea about what is right and what is wrong. So the children are, kind of confused over here in this way as well. Now the last quadrant is the, let's say, rejecting or neglecting parenting style. That is also, there is another name called as uninvolved parenting. Uninvolved parenting might happen due to a lot of reasons as well. Apart from the child, apart from the parent's own personality to be uninvolved, there could be other variables. For example, like if the parent is undergoing any sort of a mental or physical illness, let's say a chronic disease, or depression, or other mental illnesses like bipolar or personality problems or something like that, then it is likely, or even if these kind of, it is happening in the family scenario also, like for example, there is a lot of financial burden, or a lot of family stress is there, then a lot of uninvolved parenting practices might be adopted by the parent unknowingly as well. So in this, what happens is that neither there are demands, neither there is support. So the parent is there. I mean, the parent is providing the shelter, the food, and everything, but the emotional needs of the child and the mind needs of the child are not being met with. So over here, the child is often, very confused about what's happening, and very untrustworthy of the environment. So it's not a very healthy style to grow in as well. So why do we want to know about all these things? Okay, why these parenting styles matter? Because I was explaining to you, while I was explaining to you, I could directly make a link between the child outcome and the practices that you adopt as a parent. So it is directly child's well-being and success in present and also in future is directly linked with what kind of a parenting practice you're doing. So the child's happiness, the social competence, the efficacy, the sense of self and the achievement, all these are very much dependent on the kind of response that they get from their significant others as parents, like that is from us. So that is why it is very, very important to study all these, keep all these things in our mind. So what exactly decides what is